Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you present for today's special webinar that we have for TOEFL with in association with ETS out there. And before we dive into the session and we get more into detail about the TOEFL, we would quickly like to help you understand who we are and what exactly we do. We are happy to share that Galvanize Global Education is actually founded and managed by alumni from top universities like Stanford, Harvard, IIT Madras, and IIM Ahmedabad. And what exactly do? We help students for the test preparations for SAT, GRE, TOEFL, IELTS. And not only that, we have a team of experts helping students for their admission counseling for bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree out there. And not only that, galvanizes that you're back for your last minute assistance with respect to foreign exchange, student insurance, and many more such activities. We're very happy to share that 65 plus countries have chosen Galvanize in their journey of higher education. And not only that, we have helped our students get placed across 1,000 plus universities across 18 plus countries out there. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you would be seeing your dream university out there on screen right now. And we would be really glad to help you and assist you to get into your dream university or dream country out there. This is a very famous thread on Quora, and I will be sharing the link in the chat box shortly. What is this thread all about? As you can see, this thread speaks about Galvanize Global Education's admission services and test prep services by and through the students out there. So this is a source where students have expressed their journey, how it has been with Galvanize and how Galvanize has helped them achieve their dream score or university out there. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would be aware with the GRE, vocab, and SAT mobile applications of Galvanize. If not, please do check out, which I'm sharing the link in the chat box as well, which would be really a great help for you, as these are quite handy as well as an easy way of learning out there. Moving forward is the time for the first poll of today's webinar. Well, in this, we would like to understand which is your preferred destination for your further higher education. Is it USA, Canada, Germany, UK, Australia, or any other country out there? Great. I see a lot of you have been polled for USA, a couple of you for Canada, and then it goes down to UK and other destinations. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aiming at Germany as well, but most of you are looking at USA. And by this, we have got an idea about the students' interest for today's webinar, and we can end the poll. Awesome. So most of you are aiming at USA. That's really amazing. And with that, I would like to give you something exciting and a reason to stay tuned throughout the session till the end of this session. That is something with respect to a quiz that we will be conducting shortly by end of this session. And the quiz winner will be eligible for an Amazon voucher of rupees 500, and that would be valid till July 2024. And not only that, all the attendees who are there till the end of the session will be eligible for a $30 discount code, which they can avail while registering for the ETS TOEFL exam. Yes, of course, we will be sharing the link, the discount code shortly, and also stay tuned to participate in the quiz. It's going to be really exciting, and we would be really glad if you would stay tuned till the end of the session. And yes, of course, there is a special, I would say, freebie from Galvanize as well. So stay tuned till the session to know more about it. And with that, I would like to introduce you to our today's host. We have with us Sathi Chakraborthy, who's the TOEFL Master Trainee, ETS India. And with over 19 plus years of experience, she is a trainer and a mentor for all English language test preparations out there. And she's armed with master's degree in comparative literature as well from a renowned Jadavpur University. She has successfully completed TKT and CELTA Cambridge University UK certification. And you could see there are a lot of certifications out there. So I'm pretty sure, she's got a great knowledge with respect to TOEFL as well, as she has mastered the TOEFL certification with flying colors as well. And she's currently one of the master training for TOEFL India, and she's been mentoring and training her teachers for TOEFL as well. With her continuously oversees research and development programs to ensure quality standards, she strives for perfection, which is reflected in her excellent results that the candidates achieve in their English language proficiency assessments like IELTS, PT, TOEFL, OET, more. And this is something really exciting. She's recently, there is an new thing that's added to her cap, and that's where she was selected as one of the flag bearers of the 10K Women Entrepreneurs program sponsored by Goldman Sachs in collaboration with NSR CEL. We are really glad and amazed to have Sathi ma'am today for today's webinar, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be really exciting and amazing informative session. So stay tuned till the end, because whatever questions you're going to pose for today's session, she will be addressing them by end of the session. And not to forget, do participate in our quiz to win the vouchers out there. And without any further delay, I would request Sathi ma'am to start with the session.
Good evening, everybody. I think for some of them, good morning, because I can see people all over the world. It is amazing to be a part of this session today. I am glad that I've given this opportunity by ETS and by Galvanize team to help the learners how to ace the writing section of TOEFL IBT test. Thank you, Ramya, for such a lovely introduction. I would definitely do my best so that I can assist the learners and help them in getting the best input so that they can actually ace their exam. The new exam format is going to start by the third week of July, from 26th of July. So I'm sure this would become one of the greatest achievement in the test prep domain, which will help the learners not to worry about the writing skill, but to do well in all possible ways. Here we go. As I start the session, I would sincerely request everybody, please participate. Though it is a webinar, please participate through the chat box. Put your opinion, I will constantly make it interactive. Please participate as much as you can. That would make the session most successful. Let's get started. Yes, I'm sure I would love to have a thumbs up from someone if the slide is visible. Maybe the Galvanize team or my ETS team. Let's go ahead. Well, once again, welcome to the masterclass. On behalf of Galvanize and representing ETS, it is actually a brilliant opportunity for all of us. Let us make the best use of it. Two important housekeeping points. Make as much notes as possible. You will see they will be very useful for you to put down your questions in the chat box so that we can understand what are your queries, what are the difficulties as learners and test takers you come across, so that we can help you with the queries. Some of it, if we are not able to answer today, we may actually you may come back to us, also write to us as well through Galvanize and through ETS, and then we will definitely help and arrive at the right answer so that you do not have to have difficulties with the questions. So but definitely do make a note of your questions while we discuss the whole pattern of it. Now, the objectives of today's session has been laid down into 4 parts, and I'm going to follow these parts. Understanding TOEFL Writing Section. What is the section all about? Gain a comprehensive overview of the structure, format, scoring criteria of the TOEFL Writing Section. Second part would deal with analyzing writing prompts. Learn effective techniques to analyze and interpret writing prompts, ensuring a clear understanding of the task at hand. Third part would be to see sample answers and how they have successfully got 10% scores so that we can craft strong introductions and conclusions. Discover strategies for crafting impactful introductions and conclusions that engage the reader and leave a lasting impression, so that I feel that yes, you have been engaged for this and you have had a strong takeaway. Utilizing grammar and mechanics. This is something which is very important for writing skill, because we know it is a productive skill. We are all non-native speakers across the globe, and we are using English on par with the native speakers. So we have to be correct, at least our grammar mistakes, our occasional grammar sentence errors should not obscure our expression, our ideas. So utilizing grammar and techniques so that we can brush up on essential grammar rules and punctuation to enhance the clarity and accuracy of your writing. So this is by and large how the session flow has been planned. Now, before I move further, I would want a couple of you to put down in the chat box, what are your common challenges of writing section? What are your common challenges of writing section? You may please put down in the chat box. We will have a lot of interaction through the chat box. Kindly participate as much as you can. Please put down your challenges that you come, vocabulary, okay? Yes. Yes. Conventions, okay. Content, writing, right? Grammatical errors. How we even begin the essay, okay? There is no essay hereafter, right? That's nice. Somebody else, some more. We are so many of us. We are 50 odd people, I think. Yes, correct. Okay. Done. Now, because some of you have put vocabulary and phrases, let's see if we can do an activity on transitional expressions. Because we know when we write in simple language, we will have to connect our ideas. Okay, we'll have to, whether we write 5 sentences or 15 sentences to come for the task, we have to connect our ideas. So let us do an activity for transitional expressions. Get ready for it. All of you, please get ready for it, because role of vocabulary in TOEFL examination is not only with respect to writing skill, it is there for all the section. It is there for reading, listening, speaking, and writing, most importantly. So let us try and check our transitional expressions. I would love everybody to participate at length through the chat box. Now, this is a particular situation where we have to connect our ideas, and the situation is where we are trying to show connection or through development of ideas. Say, for example, again, how are we going to connect, give more words? I've given you 2 clues, again and also, to show order of information or events. That is your clue. To show order of information or events, to create logical development of ideas. So I've given you 2 clues. One is again, the other one is also. I want at least 10 from you quickly, at least 10 of them from you. Keeping in mind, what kind of lexis are we going to use? What kind of vocabulary are we going to use to connect sentences, to connect our ideas? You could please put it down in the chat box. Some more. Okay, here we go. Let's do the second situation where we have to add, suppose we have to add more information. We have just written 2 sentences, or we have just expressed one idea, and we need to add more information. What kind of connecting devices are we going to add? They are called linkers, they are called connective devices, they are called dissource markers. So what kind of vocabulary are we going to use? Kindly put it in the chat box. Continue to put it in the chat box. In addition, excellent, surely, undoubtedly. Yes. Some more. Yeah. That's fantastic. That's really nice. Yes. So our next clue, now you know the clue. So the next clue for you is to prove a point. This is very, very important because you have to prove your point. You have to give your opinion, not only for in writing, you have to do it for your speaking as well. So similar vocabulary can be used even for your speaking. So let's give it a try. Can you all please put it in the chat box? What kind of vocabulary or discourse markers or linkers are you going to use to prove your point? Okay. Good. That's really nice. Let's see this. Thank you. The same way, now our next clue is to compare and contrast ideas, events, or a point of view. This is again very, very important because in the writing task 1, integrated task, we have to show contrast of information between the reading source and the lecture. So we have to know how to connect ideas. We have to know connect ideas and show contrast. Kindly put it in the chat box. What kind of vocabulary are you going to use? Yes. Some more quickly. Let's do it impromptu. Very good. Excellent. Let's move ahead. You can use this many. Try and remember a couple of them. Say, for example, nevertheless, although this may be true, conversely, the less common ones. That actually adds more value to the writing task. You are not incorrect if you use a simple one, but it adds more value when you use the less common ones. So we should try to remember the less common ones. Now we have to express linker for time. What kind of vocabulary linker are we going to use for time? What kind of connectors are we going to use for time? Yes, some more. Yes. Maybe a couple of you more. Excellent. Thank you for that lovely participation. You can actually take a screenshot of this slide because it is, all put together. So it was very helpful for you. You may actually take a screenshot of this. Now, we move on to the actual task to know what the writing section would include. It will be first task, total duration, 2 tasks, 29 minutes. The first task is integrated. Now, why is it called integrated? Because as I told you, there are 2 sources of information, reading, listening, and then you write. Short academic reading and listening, and then time 20 minutes. You have to write, create your own, develop your own 150 to 225 words writing task. The second is a discussion, and it is marvelous. You participate and you give your opinion on this kind of academic task. Respond based on academic discussion. Total time 9 minutes, at least 100 words. Now, can couple of you put down in the chat box? Can couple of you put down in the chat box that what is before I go forward, somebody has asked for this, a quick 1-minute recap just to take a screenshot of this. Somebody has put it in the chat box. Till then, I will ask you the question. What do you think is important for us when we read something and we listen to something? See, the topic is the same. We are reading something and we are listening to something. The topic for both the same. So we need to find out similarities and differences. So how can we do that? What is most important in an exam perspective, in an exam environment? Can you please put it down in the chat box? What is important? Mapping and relating, concentration. Okay. Correct. You concentrate, you read, you concentrate and you relate, you map the ideas, and then what do you do? What do you do? When you jot down something, what do you call it? When you jot down something, what do you call it? Yes, that's nice. That you nailed it. This is Arahi. Yes, Arahi, thank you for it. It is making notes. So when you make notes, note taking is extremely important. There is no alternative to it. You can, your teachers will help you with very common abbreviation note taking. As a group, you can also contribute in developing the short forms and the abbreviations of the note taking, because you should be comfortable having the, please remember, having the note taking abbreviations are not enough. You should ensure that you are going to apply them every time you read something and every time you listen to something. That is your practice. Do not ignore this. It is very, very important and you should follow this. Your short forms can be absolutely something that you are comfortable with, but then only having the short forms, many times I have seen learners and test takers, they miss out because they do not follow. They have their note-taking script, everything ready, but it is not applied. Do not miss out on the application. Definitely do ensure that you follow what you have made the short forms. After you make the short forms, you need to have your structure. You should have a sample template of the outlining method. There has to be major point, supporting detail, subsidiary detail, supporting detail. Now, if I say, for example, in reading and listening, you should have two separate columns like this. In reading, these are my major points. In listening, these are my major points. Suppose in listening, again, there are two voices that you hear. There's a male voice and a female voice. There is a male student and a female student. Please ensure to have separate, distinct columns to copy notes. If you follow a clear template, when you look at it, okay, you will have no difficulty. Pay more attention to the listening information and the listening resource, because reading will again come back to you while you're typing your answer and developing your writing. But listening, you will not re-listen again. So ensure that you pay more attention. Let's move ahead. Now, let us explore the integrated writing task. Get ready to take notes on reading and listening passages. This is something I would want everybody to do and put it down in the chat box. We will summarize the key points from both. Now, what happens when I write? This is very, very important as an adult learner, especially when you are going to take an international test, one of the most reputed tests over the decades of global repute. You should know as a test taker on what are they going to assess me? What are my assessment criteria? You definitely should know them. Integrated writing rubrics, it is very holistic. Now, what are the key points? Quality of writing, completeness and accuracy of response. Please remember, when we refer to completeness and accuracy of response, we make sure that the learners and the test takers have taken down enough information from the reading and the listening, and then have actually compared and created the contrast or similarity, and then have put it down in their own words. Okay, so do not miss out on the completeness and accuracy. That is very, very important. Have you been able to comprehend the information from both the source? Have you been able to identify the similarities and the differences from different resources? That is very, very important. And that's what will make your write-up complete. Coming to the academic discussion, writing rubrics, development of ideas, organization, quality and accuracy of language. There is no negative marking. Development of idea is important, but it is very short. You saw that it is only for 9 minutes. So you cannot write more than 5 to 7 sentences. Organization there also is important. It cannot be scattered. There has to be a topic sentence. There has to be an idea where you agree or disagree to something, and then you justify with an example why do you agree or why you don't agree. Okay, that is the flow. Do not disrupt the flow of writing. Now, quality and accuracy of language, you will see in the upcoming couple of minutes that I'm going to show you on slide, that it is important, but if there are occasional grammar mistakes, you will not have penalization. Say, for example, in one punctuation, you put, I give you an example. I actually use this example in many of my classes. If I give a sentence, let's eat grandma, please put punctuation for let's eat grandma. Where will you put the punctuation? Quickly, I've given one sentence. Let's eat grandma. Somebody please type it in the chat box and put the punctuation quickly. I give you a couple of seconds for that because I really have a lot to share. Let's eat grandma. Correct. So here what we are saying, that we are inviting grandma. Let's go and eat. Suppose we do not put the punctuation after eat. What will happen? We are inviting our hungry stomach to have grandma as our meal, which is hilarious. So here, sentence obscurity should not happen because of structural error. I will come into that in detail a couple of slides later. So please remember, quality and accuracy of language is important. It is more important because it should not obscure your expression of idea. That is very, very important. Let's move ahead. Now, what is integrated writing and how many words do you have to write? Here, the test taker sees a 230 to 300 word reading passage for 3 minutes. Believe me, you will finish it off in 2 minutes. Detailed reading also you can do in 3 minutes because the passages are really tiny. Then the test taker here's a 2-minute lecture about the same topic from a different perspective or with additional information. This is something which is very important, and that is why I've highlighted it here, that it can be same topic, but the perspective is different. So there are either similarities between the reading and the writing, or there are complete entire difference between the two. So this is something we need to identify. Test taker sees the reading passage again and also a prompt. Test taker has 20 minutes to respond to the prompt. Let's move to the academic writing discussion part, the second task. Now, here what happens? Test taker sees a prompt that shows a prompt and two of the opinion about an issue. Test taker is advised to use specific reasons and examples to support opinion. Please remember examples and to support. If you don't do that and if you only state your opinion, you are penalized for your scores. The test taker has 9 minutes in total for preparation and writing and revision. Suggested word count for response is 100 words. 100 words is ideally 7 to 8 sentences max. You cannot write more than that. You don't need to write more than that also. This can have little bit oral structure as well. It is not needed that you have to have absolutely formal writing structure, but by and large, we follow the writing structure. Now, for this task, test taker should take a position. That is, again, I am re-mentioning it to you, and then use reasons and examples to support that opinion. There is no correct or incorrect answer, but your total presentation will be definitely scored, and there are very strict parameters of scoring, which I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. Okay, I will now show you one passage, which I will give you 2 minutes to read. Please jot down some key points. You can jot down some key points from the passage. You may jot down some key points from this passage. This is exactly the kind of passage that you're going to get. The length of the passage would be by and large absolutely the same. Not more than 230 to 300 words. Time limit will be 3 minutes. But here I'm going a little faster because I would like to do a little more discussion part also with you. If anybody wants to put 1 or 2 points in the chat box, you're most welcome about this passage. Let's move ahead. Now, please remember, first 5 to 7 hours, please prepare with the tape script. That will actually help you to understand the task better and to apply it better. Okay. We will talk about how you can do with the tape script better, even in detail, when I will show you the sample answers. Do it with the tape script for a couple of tests, sample exercises, maybe 1 or 2, up to 5, max 5 to 7 hours as you initiate your training preparation. Now you can see there are differences what we read in the passage than what we were supposed to hear in the audio, and that is what the tape script is given here. These are the differences that are highlighted. The loan the Chevalier took from the Swiss merchant shows that Chevalier wasn't rich. Okay, the Chevalier had wealth, but it was not in the form of property. He borrowed only because it took a bit of time to convert his property to cash. So these are the differences which is expected for you as a test taker to jot it down and to translate into your write-up when you finally submit the writing task. The next difference was it can't possibly have captured the conversations accurately. That's another difference. The next difference was the accuracy of the conversation should be believed because the Chevalier wrote down as much as he could remember each night directly after the conversations, and he used these notes to write his memoir. Okay, so see, there are differences between the reading and the writing, and we have to bring forward those differences. The lines of similarity, the lines of differences, we have to bring forward. Third point, it is likely that Chevalier's friends bribed jailers to release him, and that the story about his escape from the Venetian prison through the ceiling is a fiction. And finally, there were others who had friends more powerful than Chevalier's friends, and no bribe led to their freedom. So the Chevalier's exit was not due to a bribe. And shortly after the Chevalier left the prison, the ceiling had to be prepared. So this is good evidence that the story is a true one. So when you write, please ensure to bring out the differences and the similarities, and that is what you put it down for your writing. Now, what could be the tips for it? I would again want all of you to take a screenshot of this particular slide. Tips for integrated writing tasks. These are very simple tips. Practice paraphrasing. Do not write everything that you read or everything that you hear. It is expected your own language. It is absolutely fine if it is simple language, grammatically correct, but it should be your own. So paraphrasing is important. Build your vocabulary and use synonyms while you write. That's what I pointed out, how you can use the less common vocabulary, which I'm sure all of you know. The more you practice, it registers, and obviously it will manifest when you write. Practice identifying main points. Listen to recorded lectures and write down main points. This is what is practicing is important. Identifying main points, supporting detail, subsidiary detail. This has to be done rigorously for all the sections of TOEFL IBT examination, more so for writing. Now read 2 articles. This is again another important requirement that you should practice constantly. Read 2 articles on the same topic and write a summary of each. Explain ways they are similar and different. That is something which is important. Now let's move ahead for the structure. Please take a screenshot of this slide. Now, how are you going to structure it out? Now, the structure is integrated writing task description, learn a summary structure. You have done the summary of the reading passage, you have done the summary of the lecture, and now you will see what are the similarities and the differences. Some amount of academic vocabulary is definitely important, but it is very less writing task. It is not a long essay where you have to put in a lot. So this kind of academic vocabulary will help. How would be the structure? Pay attention to the structure. It is very, very important. Introduction, what did the lecture say in response to reading? That is your topic sentence, which is very important. You begin the writing. And this is where most have to use the paraphrase. Point 1, lecture versus reading. Point 2, lecture versus reading. Point 3, lecture versus reading. Conclusion is optional, but it is always advisable. You can always put a conclusion if time permits. Kind of vocabulary. What is the lecture? How is the lecture challenging the content in the reading? What kind of evidence is shown? What are the claims that you could witness in the reading passage and the listening audio? So these are the vocabs that you should use for your writing task. Now, if you use passive voice, using these kind of verbs and the linking words, what I have shown it on the screen, you will automatically develop passive sentences. Some amount of passive sentences, some amount of complex sentence structures are very, very helpful to get good scores that you want. This also you can take a screenshot. Now, I will give you 2 minutes time to read score 5 and score 4. This is an official scoring guide used by raters when they read integrated writing tasks. Okay, this is basically examiner's guide. Examiners will have to move around this. They cannot do on their whims and fancies. So I would want you all to point out 2 important things from things grade 5 and grade 4. The grading is from 0 to 5. 5 is highest, 0 is lowest, and 4 is something which is also a good grade. Now, if I may request a couple of you to put down what is important in 5 and what is important in 4. Why is it 4 and why is it 5? Quickly, I give you 2-3 minutes to put it down in the chat box. Then I will know, yes, the class is with me. The session is with me. Quickly. Yes. Okay. Some more. If you can highlight and put it from the score rubrics, I'm okay with that also. Because I will read it out to you with the parts that you should copy. You can actually take a screenshot of this as well. Some more from 4. Why did it become 4? Yes, very good. Vagueness is not there in 5, right? What do we need to do? You need to read the score rubrics 5 and 4, and you need to identify what are the key requirements in 5 and what are the key requirements in 4. That is what you need to do. 2 more minutes. My pleasure. Okay. Right. Some more. What is the most important requirement that is put in 5? Very much put in the first sentence. I told you something related to information we are collecting from 2 resources, both from reading and from listening. Logical flow. Okay. Inaccuracy of points. Okay. 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 To brief you, you may make a note. The response at this level successfully selects important information from the lecture and coherently and accurately presents this information. So important information is first something we need to pick while we are making notes. That's why I mentioned note taking is extremely important for this. In relation to the relevant information presented in the reading. If this is there, all the 3 that I showed you in the structure, lecture versus reading, lecture versus reading, lecture versus reading. This has to come in clear, distinct 3 paragraphs. Okay, don't miss on it. Now, why did it become 4? A response at this level is generally good in selecting the important information from the lecture and is coherently and accurately presenting this information, but have minor omission. Why did it become 4? There has to be something that it has become 4. Minor omission, inaccuracy, vagueness, and imprecision. And along with that, there are certain grammatical errors. The meaning is not obscured, but definitely it is not as clean and crisp, as precise like 5. Okay, now we have done this. Let us look at a sample. Let's go forward and look at a sample quickly. Quickly read the sample. Then I will help you with the annotation. 2 minutes, 3 minutes to read the sample. Maybe 2 minutes should be good. This will give a reading practice also. Once you are done reading, one of you can kindly quickly put yes in the chat box. Then I will proceed further. 2 minutes to read. Okay. Now, let's see the annotation for this. Then we will know what is vagueness. And that's what is occasional lapse of clarity. Now, the writer of this response is clearly attempted to interweave the information that he or she has gathered from the reading source and also the listening source. The points from the passage and lecture does a good job of discussion what the lecturer says about group decision making and the issue of some group members. That is there. What is missing? The writer's second point, however, is not clearly stated as the first and third points. The second point became obscured. The key sentence in this paragraph, the people who made themselves leaders in the group may just be wrong in certain decisions, or just simple things, something to is so creative, when in reality it is not, and it would not work. But the rest of the people would nevertheless still follow them and end up not doing well at all. This becomes unclear, and this is what becomes vague. Now, this is what the scoring guide calls an occasional lapse of clarity. Becomes vague. Overall, this is still a very strong response that directly addresses the task and that generally presents the relevant information from the lecture, but it becomes 4. Because my second point, though I have woven the point, it became unclear. I lost clarity. Okay. Now let's see another. Okay, maybe read this again. Kindly read this again and definitely give me that clue of yes so that I can move forward with the annotation. Yes. Thank you. Let's move ahead. Now you see what happens. The writer of this response is, sorry. There are several errors of spelling, word formation, and subject-verb agreement in this response. However, most of these errors seem to the result of typing errors for common to first draft. This is again something which is very, very, very important. TOEFL accepts first draft, and that's wonderful. The writer does an excellent job of presenting the lecture's point that contradict the argument made in the reading passage. This is here again something which is very important. Contradict, show the differences. The writer is very specific and has organized his or her points so that they have parallel to one another. The contrast is very clearly spelled out. In each of the supporting paragraphs, the lecturer's observation of what really happened is given first, and then explicitly connect it to a theoretical point from the reading. So this is where the clarity becomes the strongest point. The final paragraph contains one noticeable error, which is influent, which then correctly 2 sentences later, influential. That means when it is already given, this is not lapse of knowledge. It is a typo error. In a flow, the author might have missed it. Overall, this is a successful response and earns a score of 5. So see, quality, clarity, brevity, very, very important, along with selection of important points from both the reading source and the listening source. And that is what you compare and contrast. And this is all about your integrated task. Now, the next task would be our second task, which is actually academic successful response once more. Okay. Yes. You may take a screenshot. You may take a screenshot. I will show you the screenshot of annotation also, so that you can make a note of the annotation as well. Take a screenshot of annotation as well. Yeah, you can take a screenshot of the annotation also. Then you can later you can read it once more and compare. That will help you. Okay, let's move ahead to the writing task 2, academic discussion. Now, why do you think the writing task 2, the academic discussion, is very, very contemporary? Can some of you put it in the chat box? Why do you think it is very contemporary and it is extremely essential for an international student who is going for higher education abroad? And when there are mixed groups from various countries coming together under one roof and one international university, why do you think it is needed? Can you please put in the chat box, why do you think this would be needed? Why do you think it is needed? Any clue? It is extremely contemporary. Why? No idea? Some of you, can you please put it in the chat box? Okay, everyday matters. Excellent. In higher studies, it is absolutely needed. You have to give your theses every minute, every assignment. So your opinion is very, very important. Excellent. That is what I wanted to hear. In higher studies, it's important. Presentation is important. Yes. They allow to generate and form your own ideas. You do not have to go by the stereotypes. You actually can express your own idea based on situations that are global, social, and very strongly connected to international education, and something which is called EAP, which is English for academic purposes. Okay, this will actually help you build for that as well. Now here, what is the expectation from the test taker? The test taker is expected to respond or build an ideas expressed in other texts, clearly state or elaborate on a position or argument, show accurate and meaningful use of a range of grammatical structures and vocabulary in the academic context. This task demonstrates proficiency in a shorter time with the same high level of reliability and validity. The delivery quality is not compromised. Rather, it has been translated into more contemporary and relevant requirement. Now, this is the task. Okay, let's read the task. Your professor is teaching a class on economics. Write a post responding to the professor's question. In your response, you should express and support your personal opinion. Make a contribution to the discussion in your own words. An effective response will contain at least 100 words. Now, when people are asked about the most important discoveries or inventions made in the last 200 years, they usually mention something very obvious, like the computer or the cell phone. But there are thousands of other discoveries or inventions that have had a huge impact on how we live today. What scientific discovery or technological invention from the last 200 years, other than computers and cell phones, would you choose as being important, and why? The first and most important requirement before you answer this academic writing task, please remember to address the question completely. To understand the vocabulary that has been used for this particular question prompt. Please remember what scientific discovery or technological invention from the last 200 years, other than computers and cell phones. Majority of the learners and the test takers, they lose out because they would not have paid attention to that it is other than computers and cell phones. They would have gone straight away because of their long lasting love for computers and cell phones. They would have gone and elaborated on this too. So you should make sure that you read the question prompt completely and follow and answer every part of the question prompt. Here you have to write only 100 words. You have to type only 100 words. If you are typing 100 words, it is not more than 7 sentences. Okay, and within that time, you will be able to do, this is your own opinion, but the opinion will have to be justified with example. It is absolutely fine if it is a personal example, but you should definitely give examples. Let's move ahead and see. Yes, let's move ahead and see your sample response. Now you see how nicely this test taker has started. In the past 200 years, tons of scientific discoveries or technological inventions have been shown to the world. See how beautifully paraphrased. Then continues, if I had to choose one in particular, it would probably be vaccine or antibiotics. With Pasteur's work and discoveries, the world changed in a way people couldn't imagine. So many people were dying really young because at the time, life's conditions were not as good as the one we have now. With vaccine, we actually witnessed this during COVID. So we have no second opinion about it. See how contemporary is the question. With vaccine, we could now eradicate, see the use of less common vocabulary, eradicate. Now eradicate diseases that were killing millions of people. We learned so much about that immune system and ways our body was reacting to pathogens and the answers he could produce to defend us against it. Medicine evolved so much and keeps evolving every day because scientists are curious to understand how our body is working and how he is able to communicate with our environment. People aged 40 are now not that old and still have really long life to live and enjoy, when 2 centuries ago it was synonymous of 80% chance of dying. See the language use and also definitely see the brevity of the usage, see the organization, see the topic development and the connectivity. This is all that makes it a 5. And it starts with paraphrasing the topic and making it as a topic sentence. This is another sample answer. You may read quickly the sample answer, then I will help you read the annotation. You may read the sample answer quickly, and then I will read out the annotation, which will help us understand why is this 4. Why is this 4? If you are done, kindly put a yes in the chat box. One of you may put that yes in the chat box so that I can move forward. Yes. Thank you, dear. Now, this in the annotation, how is it explained? We need to know all this. We are all adult test takers. The more we know assessment, the more we align our practice with awareness of assessment structures, we will definitely do wonders. This response, generally successful, doesn't rise to the 5-level descriptor. Almost no lexical or grammatical errors. Had its errors have to use, it is produced, one light bulb was used, don't need to storage. Best fits 4-level descriptor, few lexical or grammatical errors are here and there. Nonetheless, why is it still 4? Ideas are easily understood. It is clear why the writer thinks that light bulb is the most important invention. Still, it is not 5 because it lacks the organization. It doesn't have the language range that is required. And so it becomes 4. Now, this is the second question prompt, which I would like you to give your opinion in the chat box. We will discuss this for 2-3 minutes. You can put your opinion in the chat box. I will read out the question for you. Your professor is teaching a class on business. Write a post responding to the professor's question. In your response, you should express and support your personal opinion. Make a contribution to the discussion in your own words. You are contributing to this discussion. The question prompt itself is a discussion question, and you have to contribute your opinion, substantiate it with examples in the discussion. We are all exposed to a lot of advertising, especially on the internet. And of course, businesses spend a lot of money to create and distribute advertising. Before next class, I would like for you to discuss this question. Is advertising, just a way of manipulating people to buy things they do not need? Or is it an important source of information that helps people make informed consumer decision? So we have to not only be aware of the question prompt, the discussion, but we also need to be very much aware and alert about the question asked. What is the question asking? I give you 2 minutes time, 2 to 3 minutes max, because of this paucity of time. Please put down your opinion in the chat box. Let us discuss. Absolutely. Tashviya, thank you so much for putting the detail in the chat box. I may request many of you to participate and put down your opinion. What would be your opinion? What would be your standpoint in the chat box about this topic? Let's do it quickly. This is something we discuss again and again in our day-to-day life among all age groups, not only young adults, but also adults, older adults. May I have some of the opinions in the chat box? I would really love them, because we are a global audience today. Okay, some more before I move forward. Yes. Yes. Very good participation. Fantastic. Maybe I will leave it open for another minute if some of you want to put it, because I understand typing is also taking time. But I didn't want to leave this opportunity of discussion despite it is a webinar. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for that participation. Let's move ahead. Now, what are the common writing FAQs? I need to inform you about that. What are the common mistakes a learner makes when they write something? We have already discussed the writing challenges, by and large, punctuation errors. That is what we are going to discuss in the next slide about the mechanics. The punctuation errors, spelling errors, sentence structural errors. Ideas are not woven properly from reading and listening. So these are the things that we need to stay focused on. What are the key parameters of writing assessment? We just now saw development of ideas, language, accuracy of language and grammar structure, and also organization. These are the three main important things that we should pay attention to. Is punctuation penalized? That's a wonderful FAQ, which many of my learners across the globe ask. Punctuation is not heavily penalized unless we eat up grammar. If we eat up grammar, then the language actually, we have eaten her up, and then we did not give the punctuation. Okay, so we should remember punctuation should not obscure my expression. That is very important. If I have slight errors, they are not penalized, that we already saw in the sample answer for 5 scores also. Should the test taker answer prompts be 100% grammar free, error free? That also I have already answered. There could be errors, but the errors should not affect intelligibility, both for writing as well as speaking. Clarity and brevity definitely would be important. Taking a stand is important. Substantiating your stand is also extremely important. What are the key differentiators of rubric 4 and 5? Is in integrated writing task for an academic writing task. Yes, the main, just to recap what we discussed so far, is that there has to be all the information collection. The correct information connection will have to be there. A 5 score is only possible if you have all the information and it is organized properly. Lecture versus reading, again lecture versus reading. You have a proper topic sentence. You open up the topic with a nice paraphrase, and also you conclude it nicely. You definitely have a very strong chance of getting 5 out of 5. It becomes 4 only when you lose out on a particular important point, and there are quite a few grammatical errors which is actually becoming a barrier to your communication. I would give this to all of you. I open this quiz. Let's see how can we use more syntactic variety. Just put the answer options in the chat box. Four questions, 1 minute, because this is actually easy. These are very common mistakes. That's why I picked it up for you all. 4 questions, 1 minute. Please just put the answer options. Just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 1A, 2B, like that. You keep putting quickly. Yes, you can put 1 through 3, 4 together. Please put 1, 2, 3, 4 together. Instead of just doing 1 and 2, please put 1, 2, 3, 4 together. Okay, some more quickly. Then I show you the next one. Please remember, there's again another quiz waiting for you, and there are some goodies for you as well. Let's not lose it. Wonderful, Anahi. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Let's move ahead. This is the next set. I have one more set quickly to give it to you. Let's have the answers again in the chat box. Please put it together. 5, 6, 7, 8, put together. Then I can see everything together. It's very easy. But yes, this is use of the right grammar structure with respect to the vocabulary clue, which is there in the sentence and the context of the sentence. All the time, we need to remember that. Yes. Thank you, Shruti. Some more? Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Gagan. Yeah, this is the last set. Use perfect tenses as much as you can. Use complex sentence structure to its minimal capacity so that it adds more range of sentence structures to your writing. And that's what we saw will bring brevity and preciseness to your writing, and that's how your scores will go up. Yes. Excellent. Thank you. Can somebody put the 10th one? Nobody. Yes. The 10th one. Thank you so much. That's fantastic, everybody. Moving ahead. Now, what are the tips? How will you improve your, TOEFL scores? Avoid plagiarism by improving your paraphrasing skills. I will mention over and again, paraphrasing is extremely important for the entire TOEFL examination, more so for writing. Please practice. Be correct with your spellings. Do not make mistakes. Use variety of sentence structures. That was we saw in all the sample answers that we discussed. Make your grammar correct. Use at least 2 to 3 perfect tenses in your writing. Use at least 2 to 3 complex sentence structures in your writing. That is very, very important. Now, mechanics of writing will actually give you better score. Now, writing mechanics, why are they important? Because they are very important as for written language. They make sense of words and give additional information. It is important to have correct punctuation, correct capitalization, use compound words as compound words, not to club them together. Be very, very careful about redundance. Do not use redundance too many times in your writing. It will penalize you and your scores will go low. Style of writing, what all we should, to maintain the style of writing, to have a good style of writing, what we should not do is we do not repeat vocabulary. We know many synonyms and antonyms. We know use of prefixes and suffixes. We should actually use it. That's all it is. Because all of you use English language as your mother tongue. When this occasion comes to prove it as a as a native speaker, on par with the native speaker, being a non-native speaker, we should do our best. Be careful about inappropriate words and phrases. Do not use irrelevant vocabulary, or do not use high-end vocabulary, flaunt words if you do not know the meaning. And it will not blend with the context. Contextual reference of vocabulary, relevance of vocabulary is very, very important. Do not use too many passive sentences. Don't do that. Do not write long sentences. Long sentences, you would have lost the thread. By the time you ended the sentence, you would have lost the thread where you began. Do not use broken or too short sentences. Do not start sentences with coordinating conjunctions like and also. Starting sentence with also and but is actually not accepted unless you connect it with the previous sentence idea. So we need to be careful about it. I think I am happy everybody thoroughly participated. I wish good luck to all of you, and I will request Soumya and my colleague Shruti from ETS to take it further. Yes, Ramya. Sorry,
Sure.
Ramya.
No,
Sorry.
no issues. Thank you so much, Sathi ma'am, out there. And I would like to give you a short break to you, wherein I would like to talk a little bit about how Galvanize can, help out there. So, a quick check on, how Galvanize can help students, and then we can move forward towards the Q&A session, and of course the quiz. Not to forget the quiz. So again, a small announcement with respect to quiz. We would like to announce that a quiz winner would be eligible for a 500 rupees Amazon voucher, which will be valid till July 2024. And yes, of course, the attendees will get a discount up to $30 while they register for the ETS TOEFL exam. Moving forward, a small poll for today's students, where we would like to understand, when would you like to take your TOEFL IBT test, within next 3 months or 3 to 6 months, or you're still a little bit dicey about when to take the test? Okay, I see a lot of you are planning to take in next upcoming 3 months. That's really nice. Okay, great. I think we have got an answer out there, and most of you are planning in the upcoming 3 months. And I'm very happy and glad that this session has happened now, as a lot of you would be very much, benefited from the session that is being conducted today. And with this, we can end the poll now. Great. Moving forward, a little bit about how Galvanize can help you. As I mentioned earlier, we do have free mobile applications, but in case you're looking for some guidance with respect to a proper test preparation, which would guide you in a personalized way, Galvanize does have online preparations for TOEFL, IELTS, GRE, and SAT. Not only that, yes, of course, we have a team of experts helping you for the admission counseling as well. Some of the advantages and features that come with Galvanize preparations. Number one is the personalized study plan, that students will be benefited based on their area of weaker sections. Second would be an unlimited Ask an Expert, where we will be helping you with content related doubts to be cleared online itself on the portal. And yes, of course, a lot of practice questions to make you perfect at any point of time that you will be facing different questions during the exam out there. And not only that, you will have updated test pattern at most affordable rate and complete solutions out there with easy way of learning. This is generally a short trip. I would like to take you about the admission counseling, how exactly it works. So the student would be first put on a call, which is called as profile evaluation. Talking about this profile evaluation here, we understand students' profile and then suggest them with the right universities that they can look for their higher education, followed with documentation process for SOP, LOR, resume building, visa process, financing, and other pre-departure activities like helping you arrange with the right, tickets or, foreign exchange out there. These are some of our students who have gone into top universities with great scores out there. As you could see, we have with us Harini, who's got a CGPA of 9, a GRE score of 331, and TOEFL of 112. And she's got into Carnegie Mellon University with MS in Electronic and Computer Engineering. We have another student with us, Shreyas, who's again got a TOEFL score of 115, a GRE score of 322 with a CGPA of 8.68. Again, he's gone into Carnegie Mellon University. We have with us Anvesha, who's got a TOEFL score of 118, GRE score of 318, 9.8 CGPA, and she's gone to University of Maryland College Park, where she's going to pursue her education in Masters in Business Analytics. These are some of our students who have scored really amazing with great guidance out there. And this is something exciting that we have for all of our students today. As you saw, profile evaluation was a part of the paid service. But as today's attendees, we would like to give them on a free note where you could get in touch with us. You can get your profile evaluated, based on which you can understand, what are the next steps that you can take. As I saw, a lot of you were a little bit dicey and undecided as to when to go for the TOEFL exam. So I'm pretty sure you would be having many more questions with respect to higher education. And I would request you to make the best use of the profile evaluation. I've also shared the link in the chat box so that you could make a use of this great opportunity, which is totally free. And moving forward, we would like to have a short quiz, and post which we will take up the questions that is there. So we have begun the quiz, and we would like to give students a couple of minutes. I would request students to participate in the quiz so that you would be not only benefiting from the Amazon voucher, but yes, of course, you would be also eligible for the 30% dollar that is there, which discount that you can use while registering yourself for the ETS TOEFL exam. That's really great. I see a lot of answers coming in there. I think we have got many answers right now. And by this, we would like to end the quiz. And we would request you to wait patiently so that we can announce the winner as well shortly. And also, before that, we would quickly like to, before we move to the next part out there, a small reminder on the profile evaluation. Do make a note of the profile evaluation link, which goes as gxprep.com/profile, and make the best use of the profile evaluation, where you could get in touch with the experts out there, get all your doubts clear about higher education. And I've freezed the screen. You can take a screenshot. I've also shared the link in the chat box. And by now, I think we can move forward towards the Q&A session. And I would request Sathi ma'am if she would like to pick up any questions and answer them for students out there.
Thank you, Ramya. I think most of them have enjoyed the quiz. They have really participated well. Before we move on to the Q&A section, I think I would request Shruti to talk about the resources so that the students who are aspiring to appear for TOEFL would be able to use the TOEFL abundance of TOEFL resources that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, guys. So, as you all must be knowing that from January 26th onwards, we have our new, test format. That is less than 2 hours. We are going to have the total duration of TOEFL test being less than 2 hours. And we have, a lot of mock tests available on our ETS website. And since we had made few changes in the writing section,
bro,
as
bro.
As
Answers
just
bro,
hello.
Sorry, Shruti, I think their mic is on. I'll just quickly tell them. Just a second. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So on our website, there are the free practice tests available based on the new enhancements. Plus, since we have made a few changes in the writing section, as you all have noticed, the academic discussions. So we have individual writing task practice tests, that is around, I believe, 26 of them available on our website. I'll just share the link with you over the chat. You may please, click on it and make a note of it. So on our website, there is full-length practice test based on the new enhancements. Apart from that, 26 questions just exclusively for the new writing sections we have. So, and also we have at the end of the test, you can also see your scores. So which will enable, which will help you to understand where do you stand, right? And apart from that, earlier, the students had to make the payment in the US dollars, but now you can make the payment in INR, that is any UPI transaction, debit card, credit card, whichever payment method you want to use, you may please go ahead and make use of it. And I'll also share our India contact center. I'm happy to share that now we have a India contact center for ETS TOEFL. So students, if you are stuck up anywhere, or you have any queries related to the exam date or rescheduling, or your score report has not yet come, any issues, you may please contact our India contact center, and they are available the 7 days a week, and from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. you may contact them during this hours. So let me just share you the
I will stop sharing.
you will share it?
Share? No, you can
Yeah.
share it. I will stop sharing. No problem. You may please share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just shared it on the chat. You may please download it and keep it with you. This will be really helpful for you. You can directly contact them for any help related to test. Apart from that, the results, the TOEFL test results, you will get it less than a week, approximately between 4 to 6 days, working days. You will receive your TOEFL score report. And any other support, any other queries you have, of course, you can definitely contact Galvanize Global for any support, any assistance. And yes, they are also giving away some coupon codes where you can get some good discount on your TOEFL test fees. So please make use of it. So that is it from my side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Great. Thank you so much, Shruti, for this information. And I'm very sure the session has been quite informative. And by this, we would like to announce the winner for the quiz. And the winner who's won the quiz is Pranay Kansal. Congratulations,
Wow.
Pranay. And
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And we will be getting in touch with you to provide you with the Amazon voucher as well. So once again, thank you for actively participating in the quiz, and yes, of course, winning the quiz. That's really great. And I think now we can open the platform for the Q&A session, where Sathi ma'am would like to answer some of the questions, because I see a lot of students have been asking a lot of questions out there. So yeah.
Okay. Now, the first question that I would like to address is how non-native speakers avoid redundancy. Okay. Say, for example, the simplest of redundant, repeat again, return back. We all know return is return. Why return back? Repeat is repeat. Why repeat again? Do not repeat words. That will help you to avoid redundancy. And also use vocabulary. I told you, I'm repeating the same thing again. I'm reinforcing and reiterating that you have enough and more vocabulary. We just need to brush it, polish it, and use it. If you feel you do need practice on synonyms, practice on paraphrases, please go ahead and do it. That was number one question somebody had asked. The second question I saw somebody had mentioned, how is TOEFL writing different from GRE writing? GRE writing is analytical writing assessment. Here it is a very short academic description writing. We saw everything in detail. And the writing task one is an integrated task. That is also a short write-up. Both are entirely different. Any other questions that you want me to answer? I could see, is there a reading? Is there going to be a reading session that I think Shruti or Ramya should answer?
Yes, absolutely. Why not? We would definitely love to, organize a session exclusively for the reading section. We'll definitely keep you posted whenever we do that.
Okay.
Um,
Any other question? Because I could not find any other question. If somebody else has a question, kindly please re-key it in the chat box, because so many answers have come on the chat box. We may miss it. In the Q&A section also, I don't see that. So if you have any other question that is left out, kindly please put it in the chat box. How to learn vocabulary in speed way. Practice, reading and practice. Take one word, okay, and then try and think of multiple words for that. Say, for example, explain, a very simple word. Elucidate, enumerate, illustrate, express. So it can be played as games among friends who are all together. And then you will see how enriched you are. Very small activities every day. Reading, listening will have to become a part of meal, actually. Then vocabulary will not take a back seat. Yes. See, they have given you excellent help for vocabulary. They have an app. Galvanize helps you with an app. So you can practice. Okay. Anybody else? Any other question? Shruti, can you see any other question? For immigration purpose, which one to choose? That's another question that is there.
Okay, I would like to answer this. So
Yes.
TOEFL, as you all must be knowing, it is mainly for the academic purpose. The content of the TOEFL test is academic. For immigration, yes, we are accepted in Australia and New Zealand. So students who are planning or willing to go to Australia and New Zealand, you guys can definitely choose TOEFL IBT test taken at the test center for the immigration purpose. So for rest of the countries, it's for the study purpose.
I think that's all about the quick Q&A.
Yeah, one last thing I would like to reiterate. From July 26th is when the TOEFL test format is going to change. That is, it is going to become less than 2 hours. So please note, from July 26th is when the date, the format is going to change. So I just wanted to reiterate on this point.
And make best use of your opportunity.
Yes.
No, come again. In writing task, is it wrong to paraphrase the reading and explain the lecture? You have to paraphrase both. You have to bring out your own paraphrase for both reading and lecture. And when you do that, you will have to show the contrast. That's what we saw in all the samples that we went through, that how the lecture is different from the reading. That is what we need to paraphrase. Paraphrasing is needed for both the lecture as well as the reading. We cannot directly lift from what we have heard. Neither can we directly select and write what we have read. It has to be paraphrased in our own language. That is for both. It is required for both. I think, Shruti, this, if you can help them, which other changes will it be in TOEFL IBT? What are the other changes?
Just the few questions in reading we have reduced. The time duration remains the same. And in the writing task, if you see, we have removed the independent task and we have kept the academic discussion. Rest everything remains the same. If suppose you guys have practiced, the old format or something, no problem with that. Or if you have practiced the old format practice test also, do not worry about it, because any which ways it is going to be similar, only just a few changes in the reading and the writing section. That is all.
Yes, are we done? Some more?
I think we have almost answered all the questions out there. And till the time, if students are still wanting to write the questions out there, I would like to take this opportunity and thank ETS, for being with us and helping us for the TOEFL out there. Writing has always been a tough task, I believe, for all of them. And it's really great to have session, and we believe we will be having many more such sessions as well in the upcoming days or months out there. And till that, in case you feel that any of your question has not been answered, or you would like to get in touch with us and know more how we can help you out there, one thing, you can get in touch with us through a profile evaluation form, and this is the link which is also shared in the chat box. If not, we can also get in touch with us through our contact number, which is mentioned here, and I would like to freeze the screen for a couple of minutes so that you can make a note of the contact details out there. So if you like to get in touch with ETS, or you would like to know more about how Galvanize can help you, please get in touch with us. We would be really glad to help you out there. And I would also like to thank all the participants for joining us today, and not only actively participating, but we are very happy that you've been asking a lot of questions, which means that you're very serious about this TOEFL preparations and you would like to start as early as possible. So a big thank you to Sathi ma'am as well for joining us today. And we are really amazed to have you today. It was really a very informative session, and thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the entire Galvanize team. And actually a big thanks to all my team members in ETS to really honor me to have this session. I am really thrilled. The participation was fantastic. Though it's a webinar, but the participation was fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Good luck to all of you to fulfill your aspiration and fly out with high scores and go abroad.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This was really heartwarming out there. Thank you so much. And a lot of students have asked about the discount, how to avail the discount code. Please give us some time. We will get in touch with you once the webinar is over. We will get in touch with you and help you with availing the discount out there. And once again, thank you, everyone.